Hello there, Jarod the Dark Jedi here. As all of you are aware, the Screen Actors Guild and the Writers Guild are both on strike. And after some consideration, it has been determined that review content, like what is mostly predominantly makes up a lot of what we produce, is still going to be not considered crossing the picket line. It is still encouraged by the Screen Actors Guild, who established new terms additional to what was being asked to be complied with the WGA. What we do here, the conversations we love to have with a bunch of our friends, to have with you guys, is not possible. The stories we love to talk about, the stories that we love, do not get made without the blood, sweat, tears, creativity, and brilliance of the writers and actors. And currently, the studios who produce the things we love are working these writers and actors to death, not compensating them appropriately, and are trying to replace them with AI. I would think it goes without saying that the Nerd Academy podcast stands staunchly with the Screen Actors Guild and the Writers Guild, and we'll be supporting them from here until the end of these strikes in whatever way that we can. There will be links in each episode description so that you are able to see how you can help, where you can help, how you can donate to different funds to keep food in the belly and roofs over the heads of the writers and actors who are trying to make historic change in Hollywood as we speak. This review, this discussion, this news roundup, whatever the episode may be, was recorded during these strikes, and our love for the works of these writers, of these actors, will continue to be praised and discussed while they fight for their rights. And I want to implore everybody watching and listening to aid in whatever way they can. We stand tall with them.
The Nerd Academy podcast is released weekly at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, available on our website at www.thenerdacademypodcast.com and wherever you listen to podcasts. You can find the Nerd Academy podcast on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. You can also help support the show by going to patreon.com/The Nerd Academy podcast, where every donation allows us to bring you more exciting content every week.
Believe it or not, we talk about things that aren't Star Wars on this channel. Hello there, and welcome back to the Nerd Academy podcast, your source for nerddom news and commentary. I'm your host and superior webhead master, emphasis on one of those very much with things to come, Jared Bachman-Stubbs. I'm excited. There's another story I forgot to bring up to Travis before we started. This is like a show notes free episode. Just as a programming note, while Travis and I are ironing out when we're going to be recording TNAP, just because, again, schedules are chaotic. This will be coming out on Wednesday, the day before Loki drops. So you guys will have like 2 days to kind of use this as like a little like recap show, whet your appetite for when the next episode of Loki comes out. I am going to try to get these out a little sooner than that. Travis and I ran into some scheduling issues this week. We get that ironed out as we go. But I talked about it enough. Also with me is Travis Grossman.
She nerds on my academy till I...
You know what else I have? I have to... That was not as elegant as yours.
Yeah, but you're also doing like one of these. This
is
so hard to do, you know?
Yeah. Something I picked up in my trip to Virginia a week or so ago. I have some hard Mountain Dew to be sipping on today.
I have a can in my fridge still because my friend got me some from Tennessee, I think. But it is definitely past date. And
it's booze. You'll be fine.
Yeah, it's not worried about getting sick. It just tastes a little rough. And like it's been sitting in there for a while now. But I've had the Baja and the regular. The Baja is actually good.
I had the Baja. It's not bad. I think we talked about this. I've grown to like Baja Blast. I think we talked about
Yeah.
this on the last.
I also have a can of Baja Blast stashed in here for a dark day.
Uh, I like it. I'm drinking the watermelon one right now. I think I've had each one already. You know what threw me for a loop when I bought these? Okay, let me ask you. Do you know what all is in the variety pack?
Yeah, it's regular Baja, watermelon, and I think there's a cherry, like a black cherry or something.
See? I thought it was a hard code red as well. It's Livewire, the orange one.
Oh. I think that might be a new one then. I think the original rounds had cherry, but maybe I'm Mandela affecting myself.
I'm not sure. I also thought it was like a hard code red.
Yeah.
But it's the
I knew it
watermelon,
wasn't
like the hard major melon, hard Baja, hard
yeah.
original, and I did not realize it was Livewire, but it's not code
That doesn't
red.
sound bad though. That sounds pretty good, to be honest.
It's not bad. Have you ever had? I mean, I know the answer to this is probably no. Have you ever had the Bud Light hard soda?
No, I think I've looked for it before.
It's
I've
not
nev-
hard to find. It's like at Sheetz and Walmart and stuff.
Yeah, well,
Um,
when it first came out, I tried to find it and we couldn't find it anywhere.
it's good.
That has been
The
yeah.
cherry cola is like head and shoulders better than the other ones. Like the other ones aren't bad. They're not bad because it's like a melon. It's not lemon. I thought it was on lime. It's like a melon, I think, or maybe it is lemon. I can't remember. But it's something citrusy. There's a hard orange soda, a hard cola, and then a hard cherry cola. Cherry cola is by far the best. I've actually seen the cherry cola as like pounders on their own. If you ever see that as like a single, definitely get it. You'll like it.
Yeah. I like Henry's Hard is something I've enjoyed a lot.
Oh my
before.
god, dude!
Yeah.
I can never find Not Your Father's Root Beer anymore.
Really?
I recently saw some at the Beer Minimum near where I live. But like, it's so hard to find. Not Your Father's. That used to be my drink of choice back in the day. Like, go back to the Dewback days. Like, I think I say at least once an episode something about something Not Your Father's Root Beer. Like, because that was my thing. That was my jam. I'd make like hard root beer floats and shit, bro. Oh, that shit was the bomb. But
I don't like root beer, but I
good.
can drink hard. Not Henry's Hard, but Not Your Father's. I actually like that. The taste is different enough that it works.
It's very vanilla-y, which I like in a root beer. I know total sidebar, but you guys come for soda discussions.
We're experts.
So little bit of fun lore on my family. My dad, this kind of starts on a downer and then it gets like kind of cute and funny and heartwarming. My dad's side of the family had like a really bad habit of like, oh, we have like booze money. But like all of the like groceries in the house are like absurdly cheap generic brand shit. So my dad has like an adverse reaction to seeing generic shit. So like years and years ago, when I was so little, and my mom had first started bartending, my mom bought like this like cheap like soda that was being used as a mixer because it was like a weird flavor and you can never find it's only ever like weird generic brands that are like blue raspberry, green apple. And my mom was using it to like kind of like play test cocktails and shit. And my dad was like, "What the fuck is this? I don't want my kids drinking this generic bullshit." And not to make light of something that is sincerely triggering for my father. But like he loses his shit when he sees like a generic brand soda because it's very like my kids will have Pepsi or Coke. God damn it. Which again, like I don't mean to say that it's silly, but like it's very there's a sweetness to it that I find heartwarming. All of that to say, twofold. The first time Spencer ever came over, like a billion fucking years ago, he brought a gallon bottle.
the dollar store 3 liter.
It was at the Shop and Save. It was at the Shop and Save in Latrobe. In his defense, he did get it in an actual supermarket.
Yeah, I always remember seeing the 3 liters at the dollar store, and I would just think like, man, if only that was name brand.
If only that were name brand, yeah. Just a fucking kegger of name brand
Yeah.
soda. But he brought over this gallon bottle of super chill root beer, and let me fucking tell you, super chill root beer is the best fucking root beer on the planet. It might as well be a dark cream soda. That's how
Mhm.
vanilla-y it is. Like it may as well be a cream soda. It is A tier shit. Um, but anyway, but with what I brought it up is like when we were in Virginia, me and my mom and my girlfriend, we hit like the grocery store nearby so we could get like drinks and mixers and stuff for when we were like done at the theme park and went back to our hotel. And I can never find like fun flavored sodas. You know, like
Mhm.
I can never find a green apple or something like
Right.
that because I don't think they make
Dude,
have you ever had the Jolly Rancher soda?
I was just about to say that. Oh my
Bro,
god.
bro,
The best,
fucking
some of the best.
I'm at the gun.
Nightmare. Nightmare fuel.
um
Yeah, no, I think about those at least once a week.
bro, I didn't think about it until we were at it was at a Food Lion was the name of their like I guess what you like their equivalent to like a giant eagle
Yeah.
for people from
Mhm.
our neck of the woods.
Yeah,
And
like a Kroger, a Meyer, that kind of thing.
yeah, yeah, Giant, which apparently is not related to Giant Eagle, even though they use the same font, which is
Yeah.
very funny to me. But allegedly they're not the same. That's what people keep telling me. I've never fact checked that. But we found like this like a 2 liter of green apple soda, and it made me so happy. It made me so happy. And then I got a green apple vodka. Bro, it tastes like a Jolly Rancher. This is the kind of shit I could kill you with on a 4th of July.
Yeah,
Like
probably.
for those of you who
I
don't know that, go back somewhere. It's probably in a
so
campus life.
yeah,
Travis almost met God while we watched Hamilton one
I
time.
did meet
Um,
God watching
he
Hamilton. Look, I
met
don't
God
consider
and
that
he
night.
rapped with the corniest flow you've ever heard.
I don't think I technically blacked out that night, but it did take me to a second to remember why my face was bruised.
Yeah,
Because like I forgot headbutting Joel by accident. But
I forget about that part. I not too long ago got to retell that story, and I can confidently say the part where I changed my shirt in the middle of holding you up to pee and throw up is never. I can't tell that part of the story without crying. I'm laughing so hard because it just doesn't make any sense. Okay,
it's
I have to retell the story now for any new because we actually have had an influx of subscribers since that story was told last. So we'll get to the news. I promise. I sound like Alex Jones. We have tons of news to get to. I have my stackies. No. So 4th of July was it 2020? I think it was 2020 because that
yes,
like
it
4th
was
of July was like
2020.
so. So 4th of July 2020 in Pennsylvania, that was like the first time they went, okay, we're gonna let you guys try to rejoin society a little bit. So we decided we were going to set up a backyard bar at Joel's family's house, set up my massive like projector screen and projector, and watch Hamilton. And this is the year I started bartending. So because I was so excited for this celebration, I made like a Hamilton themed drink menu and spent so much money at the liquor store. I mean, hey, we all had stimulus checks, so I was like, fuck it, I want to entertain my friends. I haven't seen you assholes in months. So I just absurd fucking drink menu. I will say, not a single bottle was left open. So we did at least one of everything. Not everybody had one of everything, but
Yeah,
like somebody had something at least.
I
Um,
I think I tried 3. I definitely tried 2.
I made
I definitely
so
had a favorite.
um so background, Travis, you are historically a lightweight.
Yes.
You're a smaller guy. Um
I was a
you
lightweight when I was 60 pounds heavier.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like,
you've never had much of a tolerance. You're a lighter guy in general. And you're not a liquor guy either. I think that's an important note to make. Is that like
I really thought I would be when I was younger. I was like, beer's disgusting. I'm gonna drink liquor. It's gonna be fine. And then I got to be like in college and partying and stuff, and I'm like, I don't need a lot, man. I'll drink a beer and play board games, and that's enough for me.
yeah, yeah. So it was so funny because I'm making this big elaborate drink menu. So many of our friends turned 21 right before or during the pandemic.
hmm
So you'd think the person who's been legally allowed to drink would be the one who's like, a bunch of fucking children. Travis, surprisingly, was the one who was like, woo, drink menu, which was so uncharacteristic and should have been the first hint from the universe that we were gonna fucking die that night.
We had been 3-4 months into a pandemic. I had been working a service job all 4 of those months.
Yeah.
There's a lot, okay?
There's a lot.
I had a
There's
lot to decompress.
So we had this huge backyard bar, all this shit, and we're all super excited. I'm excited to try them because like I haven't had a chance to like really like stretch my flex my bartender muscles yet. So so we start the thing, and I'm making everybody's first drink before we press play. And Travis was on the fence as to whether or not he was going to go hard in the paint. And he comes up, and I'm getting ready to make his drink. And I'm like, okay, like, how do you want me to make this? And Travis said, and I quote, pour it like you're making yourself a drink. And we both smiled, thinking it was going to be a fun. Yeah. So there was one I made called Washington on Your Side, which was like a Washington apple with like a couple extra flourishes. And then there was a bourbon drink. I can't remember what
bourbon.
I was called Aaron Bourbon, sir. And I can't remember what all I put in it. I just remember that I bent over backwards to make a bourbon cocktail to make that joke. I had a name, and then I created a recipe around the name.
I know if I knew how it was made, I would be an alcoholic now, and I'm glad I don't know.
I lied. It wasn't a Washington apple. Washington on Your Side was that white Russian variant my mom and I invented, and I just renamed it for that night.
Mm-hmm.
It was the Hamiltini, which I stole from the Hamilton, like the theater bar. I stole that one, like straight up. I stole that from the bar, from the theater where Hamilton was playing at. Anyway, we get like to the end of Act 1, and we are at about where I thought the night would end, where it is a bunch of white children slurring raps about the American Revolution loud as fuck. And it's a good time. If I'm sure Lexi has the videos of us. It was a fucking nightmare in the best way. We don't stop drinking. So around burn, Travis is like, looks like he's sitting in a lawn chair, slouched in such a way that you thought somebody came through with a shotgun and blew him away. And there's this little slab off to the corner that I am just fully laying on in the fetal position, fading in and out. Like I'm at that point of like, I'm just so drunk, I'm sleepy. And I'm like fully making peace with the fact that I'm probably going to sleep on this little slab. And Travis, and I am brought conscious by the sound of Travis going, it's like a fucking zombie in a shitty 60s movie.
I really thought somehow that was gonna push it all down and I'd be fine.
He's gonna like atonally vocalize and make it go away.
It works until it doesn't work.
So Travis just fucking violently. And we're like, oh no. So like at this point, it show's over. So Travis is kind of puking all over in like the courtyard area of Joel's backyard. So then I'm like, Travis, I'm coming. And I'm not going to say that I sobered up because I wasn't sober. It's not like I
You
could
did
have driven.
no, you did throw up first. Well, not for like before me, but like I threw up. You stood up and went, "Oh, what's going on?" Well, all right, I'm good.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. But it wasn't because I was drunk. It was very much like I looked at and smelled the throw up for too long.
yeah.
And then went, oh, that's gross. And then also became sick because of that. I can confidently say I have only ever thrown up from drinking once. Well, while I was
Oh,
drunk once. I've woken up and then thrown up. That's different.
I've definitely that's the only time I've ever thrown up from the alcohol. There are several times where I've had really shitty food and then too much beer in combination, and my stomach
Oh
just
yeah.
can't handle the volume.
Yeah.
Yeah, as opposed to like the alcohol has poisoned me to this point.
Yeah. So I get up and I'm like, I can't not now that I've played D&D and I've gotten into like tabletop stuff, I now know the best term to use. If I as a person am like a fighter class, I got my second wind.
Yeah.
And I healed just enough to be able to try to help Travis. So he throws his arm around me, and now and Joel will tell you this is false, and he's a fucking liar. He told us to go to what we all called a drain in that moment.
So no, okay. I do. Here's the thing. I remember everything so vividly, and it's probably wrong, but in this moment, my process goes, well, I'm not done throwing up. So you pull me over to what looks like a drain. Or no, maybe I didn't even get over there yet. You stand me up, and I know I'm
For
falling
some
asleep.
reason, we all thought you being vertical was the best play.
Eh, I don't know. But you stood me up, and I knew in that moment they're gonna lay me down and go to sleep. Like, I'm not leaving this place tonight, and that's fine.
Yeah, I made peace
But
with what I'm saying here.
but I also knew in that moment that if they laid me down to go to sleep and I didn't pee, I was going to pee myself in my sleep. And I was not for an iota of a second going to risk walking into Joel's house. And I was like, Joel, can I pee in this drain? And I point to the window well.
Yeah, spoilers, it's a window well. That is not a drain. It is like 2 feet
and
deep.
and
And
Joel
it's
at this point,
July.
yeah. And Joel at this point is so done with everything that has happened in the last 5 minutes.
And also
And he's
schmammered.
like,
Less schmammered. He's the only one who,
yo,
like,
yeah.
you can confidently say sobered up, but he was still feeling it, Mr. Krabs.
And like, he was definitely just like, I don't fucking care, do what you want. Like, whatever you have to do to stop, please.
So it was the blind leaving the blind at this point. And I'm like, okay, come on, man. And I get you over to the window well so you can pee. So you pee. And you're throwing up again. And at this point, and you're just fucking limp. You're just
Yep.
and I'm holding you up. And I'm wearing my Hamilton t-shirt that I have. So Lexi was there with our friend Billy. I look over and I go, hey, go into my backpack. In my backpack, I have a tank top. It says like Sith Academy on it. Throw it to me. And I'm throwing this out like I'm a surgeon performing an operation. They're like, yeah, Jarod knows. Jarod's a bartender. He knows what he's doing. Like, surely this serves a purpose. So they throw me my shirt. They throw me my tank top. And with one arm, couldn't do this again today if Travis's life was on the line. I take off my shirt. Again, this is all holding him up while he's peeing and puking.
Yes.
I take off my Hamilton t-shirt, throw it to them, and then put on the tank top with one arm. And I threw you, and I let you go airborne for 1 second and stand on your own to put it back, put the shirt all the way on. And I throw them the shirt. And then Billy, Lexi, and Joel go, what the fuck was that? What? Why did you need to change your shirt? And I, with all of the confidence in the world, looked on, went, I need a better grip. I don't know what the fuck that meant. I don't know why the fucking tank top gave me a better grip on traffic.
That is sincerely, that is the last time I was very drunk. Like, since then, I have only ever had a light buzz.
I need a better grip.
You need a better grip.
And then Joel made us sleep outside.
Which I would not have had it any other way. If he had tried to take us into that house.
The thing that is still funny to me about Joel making us sleep outside was when his mother came outside and saw both of us, who are already both kind of pale individuals. Like, I've started, as the older I get, I tan a little bit more these days. But like, you and I are both like kind of fair skinned.
Yeah.
We were visibly pale. Like, we were translucent by the time.
She tried so hard to not make us feel bad about what happened. And we definitely, I had a moment of terror. I'm like, oh my God, she's going to see this disaster. And it had been cleaned up as I was out there.
Oh, yeah. And it's not like they didn't know we were drinking. Like, everybody was of legal drinking age.
Right, yeah, of course. Yeah, that's not the issue. It's just like I was embarrassed about what had happened because it was embarrassing.
Oh, yeah. And, but I'm just saying, like, to that point, like, even all the booze was put away. Like everything was clean.
And so and she wasn't talking about it, and I was like,
well, she came outside, saw us, thought we had left, and went, did Joel make you guys sleep out here?
And we were like, so no, we chose this.
But Travis, almost half an hour into the episode, you know what would have helped?
A Bloody Mary.
Sunday's Bloody Mary.
Mary mix. I feel like I would not have done what I did with Sunday's Bloody Mary, not because I couldn't, but because I would have tried to enjoy it instead.
Listen, I know in our friend group, despite me not being by the numbers, our friend group's resident alcoholic, we like to joke about it because, like, I appreciate a good liquor drink more than most people. It's hard to get drunk on a Bloody Mary. I could do it, but that's just because, like, Bloody Marys are my jam. But Sunday's Bloody Mary has the most badass Bloody Mary accoutrement in the multiverse, with their 3-time award-winning spicy Caesar mix, as well as their mild and traditional mixes. They also have their award-winning garnishes with their pickled dilly beans, okra, and asparagus, and some rim salt if you want to get your freak on and garnish that bad boy. Go to the link below to get your Sunday's Bloody Mary for 10% off, and use code TNAP, TNAP at checkout, and get 10% off your order and help out your favorite nerds while you do it. So, half an hour in. You want to know what's fucked up? I already have to go to the bathroom. So it's going to be potty break here soon. But since last we spoke with you guys on the main show, the writer's strike has ended, and I wanted to wait to talk about it on the main show because this is where we've been covering the strikes. The writers got everything they wanted. No AI, a minimum number of writers in a writer's room, residuals on streaming. They have access
popularity
to
based
numbers.
Popularity based residuals, which is huge. That's so
strikes work. Strikes work. Strikes work. At the time of recording, SAG-AFTRA has not reached a deal yet, but
I think they met last Monday.
They've been meeting. Right? They've been meeting. Yeah. They were meeting throughout last week. This is being recorded on October 9th. So, I mean, I plan on dropping this on Wednesday, the 11th. Happy birthday to my lovely girlfriend. So by the time this comes out, I hope this is outdated news that SAG has not reached an agreement yet. But until then, Remember, keep donating to the Entertainment Community Fund. Keep sharing the work of these strikers. Yeah, I am just so incredibly happy to see that the Writers Guild got everything they want. And I think, there was that, I think either Variety or Vanity Fair had that article about basically like studios you've lost. Just end this now before it becomes an even worse self-inflicted wound. As time goes on, as we get closer to there not being any programming in the next year or a year after that. So yeah, and once that happens, we'll have more news to talk about again. Which is going to be nice. There are rumors floating around that like the Fantastic Four is basically ready to be cast. They just have to wait until the strikes end. I don't know how I feel about that. Just accuracy wise, I feel like that implies that there were deals being cut during the strike, which I don't think is accurate. But then again, things could have happened right before the strike, and it's just
Yeah, like
out now. We found out about Lando during the strike.
Yeah, like there are things that were definitely in works beforehand, and maybe like paperwork that can be processed without breaking like strike guidelines or something, just to be like, we know this is going to happen once the deal is reached.
Yeah.
So just having it ready to go so that all we have to do is hit send.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, again, the most important thing here is that the people who help tell the stories that we love and that we love to talk about get fairly compensated for it. It was a hot strike summer. It's going to be a hot strike fall. Better start treating these VFX companies the way they fucking deserve. Because let me tell you, if you thought you were up the creek without a fucking paddle, without writers and actors, fuck you, big studios. If you think a goddamn thing is getting done without these VFX houses. So yeah, with that, Travis, you have some Magic of the Gathering stuff to talk about?
I do. I have a few things. So
I'm
Doctor Who.
I'm going to give you the floor, and I'm going to run to the bathroom.
All right, you do that. I'll save. I don't know. You want to just go to break? Because I wouldn't input on Doctor Who stuff. Because like these are things you can bounce off of. I guess I'll talk One Piece first. Talk One Piece first.
Okay. I'll be right back.
All right. So I watched live action One Piece. It was really good compared to most Western live action anime adaptations. Hey, I'm full screen. That's a turkey. Audio listeners, I have a turkey on my whiteboard. He's doing a sit. One Piece live action was very good for the usual standard of live action anime adaptations. There were a few, and this is like the nitpicky part of my brain, there was like specific lines of dialogue that I think should have been there that weren't. And there's like a weird westernization of the need to have your hero rise up above a challenge that isn't always present in One Piece, or at least not to the extent that it is like in our usual stories here, that kind of fumbles the last like episode or two for me. But I look forward to see where they go with it. There's a lot of fun things it looks like they want to do. I think all the casting is spectacular. Everyone does a good job. I need more Scottish Garp in my life. I think I blew through what I have to say. I'm going to elaborate some more when Jarod gets back. What else? What else? Hey, he's back. Look at that timing.
Right?
So
we like One Piece.
We like One Piece. It's good. There's a couple of dialogue options I'd change. They cut one of the like iconic opening lines of the series. When Roger's getting executed, it is kind of important that he says, "I left all of my treasure in that place." Like that specific line is important because that's what tells people to go to the Grand Line. And he doesn't say that in the show. And it's a little odd.
That is weird.
the scenes that get focused get really good focus there, and like obviously they're not going to give everything focus, but like moments that I love, like Sanji saying goodbye to the Baradier, could have been done a little better in my opinion. But that's my first I cried at One Piece scene is Sanji leaving the Baradier. So I'm biased, and they do Luffy help me so well, which I'm sure you've seen screenshots of. It's when he puts his hat on Nami.
Yeah.
That scene it's perfect. Everything about it is perfect. But like a couple of dialogue switches, the casting's perfect. I don't like how they handle the last fight with Arlong. Specifically, it feels too westernized in that they think this needs to be like an insurmountable challenge for Luffy to overcome, and that's not what the fight with Arlong is. From the start of the series, Luffy is like objectively the strongest person in the East Blue. Like no training, no nothing. He is categorically the strongest pirate in the East Blue. And every fight he has is not a challenge because his opponent is superior to him in some way. It is a challenge because he has an ulterior objective that involves kicking that guy's ass. So like he never struggles fighting Arlong in the anime. It appears like he does. He does not. There was never a question who was going to win that fight. He struggles. He verbalizes that he is struggling against Arlong. I don't like that.
Okay.
And like the challenges he faces later are not a challenge of strength so much as like Oda being creative. Like the next main villain, if we assuming we get season 2.
Big if Netflix.
Right. I hope that because like Alabasta is a lot of people's favorite arc, like over like big arc in the franchise, and so like for them to do a live action Alabasta, especially if they do Trans Croc, which like there's a big.
No, I'm assuming that's not a crocodile with pronouns.
No, it's a person named Crocodile that there's a huge fan theory that they're trans.
Gee, I wonder why.
But well, like it.
Proof you can make jokes about being transgender and they not be objectively fucked up. By the way,
dude, One Piece is such leftist propaganda. There's literally a character you meet later whose devil fruit power is that they can transition people. They can just like it's a hormone fruit is what they have. But the prevailing theory is because like there's a power system that Crocodile should know how to use and doesn't use. And recently I saw like because it resists devil fruit powers, and so people were like, Croc doesn't use hockey because he'll detransition because his transition is from a devil fruit, and it's like, oh my god. And there's
when you mentioned that we're going to be talking about Gen V later. There is a character who is bi gender. Who, if I understand what I'm seeing, their power set changes. They flip.
Mm-hmm.
They're named Jordan, which is a very gender neutral name. And they, whenever they are presenting masculine, it seems like it's super strength. And whenever they're feminine, it's more like a think Sue Storm force fields, but more telekinetic.
Okay.
It's more like, but like you can't puncture it. It's like a. I have no idea. I have no idea how to explain that better, other than like Invisible Woman, but it's more telekinesis.
Mm-hmm.
But as you were saying,
we get a panorama of like. Because over time, we've seen more and more named characters were actually at Rodder's execution. One of them is Croc, and the shot we have from the manga of Croc is only from the back, and it's really androgynous looking. And like, we've seen pictures of young Croc who looks really androgynous looking. Like, you could not tell if that is a biological young boy or girl. And in the live action, there's this weird shot that hangs on this woman who's in a lot of similar clothing to what Crocodile wears. So like that's pretty cool. A trans actor plays one of the principal characters in Kobe. So like
Sick.
good shit. Love that. They're perfect. They're utterly perfect. Excellent, especially because they use Kobe so much more in this show, which I'm interested to see what they do with. Because part of the thing with Kobe's the pink-haired boy from the beginning of the show that he meets that goes to be a Marine.
Okay. Oh,
Like
okay.
episode
Okay.
3.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's like a little side story of Kobe getting trained, and he eventually comes back and he's a captain. Like he's like one of the best Marines that is out there. And like he's the Marine counterpart to Luffy, basically. And so, but not as strong necessarily, but like he's getting there. And we don't see any of that training. He vanishes for like 300 episodes and then shows up 300 episodes later and he's like, "What's up, man? I've been training a bunch and now I'm super strong." And we're seeing that process, which is cool, but it's going to be weird because it should not be there. And I don't know how they're going to interlace it with Alabasta, but I trust them to make it work because they made the season work.
You know, as somebody, I haven't watched the live action One Piece. One Piece is a story and a fandom that I love hearing about secondhand.
Mm-hmm.
Like I love being in the room for you and Levi just chopping it up about One Piece. And so as a bystander who has seen like a handful of, I'd say I've seen about like 20 or so episodes of One Piece. Ish, give or take. And I think it's really funny that a show that seems pretty hard to fuck up in Cowboy Bebop failed so spectacularly and so unilaterally.
And I think like the real difference is how much Oda cared about this project.
Yeah. Well, and that's what I was going to say. And I'm sure a lot of it has to do with the fact that Oda was very involved, to my knowledge. But I just think it's so funny that the one that seems pretty straightforward in terms of adaptation, like there's a bounty hunter in space. That's one of the most popular shows to ever be on a streaming service already. Not to oversimplify things, but like, you know, there's a bounty hunter and there's like a criminal underworld in space. You know, you're one really cute little green guy away from a different, very popular streaming show.
Yeah.
Again, to oversimplify. So the fact that if you took me aside like 5 years ago and told me there's going to be a live action Cowboy Bebop and there's going to be a live action One Piece, which one do you think is going to be talked about as sacrilege to the fandom, as a complete and utter failure that may have permanently damaged the brand, and the other one is going to be celebrated and championed by a huge collection of that fandom as being like good and something that could be a gateway, a serviceable gateway for people to get into the source materials? I would not have told you One Piece was the good one.
Yeah, for sure. It is so sad that like they basically can't catch up. Like it's Netflix, it's going to get canceled eventually. If they can make it through Alabasta, I think people would be satisfied. Alabasta is like one of the it's most people's top 3. It's a lot of people's number 1 arc. And so if they can conquer Alabasta, I think they could get through Alabasta and be like, we're not making more of this, and people would be upset, but also like they're not going to get to Gear 5. And they're not going to be able to do Gear 5 in live action. It just will not work. And so
this is, again, the framing of this question may be a little reductive, so I apologize, and I'll explain what I mean. Do you think the live action One Piece, assuming it's given, let's assume Netflix doesn't Netflix all over this and kill the show after it is, flourished for years. Do you think they have to Game of Thrones it insofar as they
End
need
it
to come
before.
up with an ending
Gotcha.
before the creator gives it an ending? Like, do
Yeah.
they have to come up with a different version of, and this is how they get to the One Piece? Or do you think that, do you see that as a possibility, and how do you think that would be received by fans?
I have seen like a famous saying in the One Piece fandom is Oda has said that, and usually that's bullshit. But Oda has said that. The original plan for One
It's
Piece,
giving Star Wars fandom.
right? It's giving. Well, George Lucas's vision was, and so Oda has said that the original plan was to go for 5 years. The manga was going to run for 5 years. They were going to get to the Grand Line, fight the 4 emperors, find the One Piece. That was the plan. And actually, the thing that threw it all out of whack was them meeting Mihawk. Because Mihawk is not supposed to be an emperor, but he was like, I got to make this guy seem intimidating. He's one of the 7 warlords of the sea. That sounds cool. And he came up with the whole concept of 7 warlords on the sea on the spot. Kind of dropped it where it was, and then he just kept doing that over and over, and just kind of he built on the things he was just like, this sounds cool, I'll do this, right? And now we're over 20 years down the line.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and now it's been several decades, and
and we still have like a decade to go. Like so the thing is, he knows what the One Piece is. Oda knows where he's going, right? So technically they could do it, but also at this point the fandom is clamoring so hard for the One Piece to be revealed in every medium at once. Like, we collectively, the fandom has said, we want the sub, we want the dub, and we want the manga to show the One Piece on the same day. Like,
okay.
because like the dub is close. The dub is within like 30 episodes now of just being caught up, which is insane. Like, you can almost get up to like the hypest animated point of One Piece in English, and it just happened last month. So, or I guess 2 months ago now.
And that was Gear 5.
Yeah, which perfection, utter perfection.
It makes me happy that the One Piece crowd is eating well.
We eat so well. Doctor Who X Magic the Gathering drops in 5 days. The whole card set is revealed. It looks pretty sweet, actually. Every time they announce these crossovers, I'm like, God, I'm gonna hate this. This is so dumb. I hate every minute of it. And then I see the cards and I'm like, God, this is so cool. This is such a cool idea.
Tell me that my boy has a card.
Oh, all the like the doctors?
Yeah, tell me there is a 12th Doctor card.
There's one for every doctor.
Good shit.
Yeah.
Including the new guy? 14?
No.
I can't pronounce. I feel so bad about it. Those are one of those, like, I need to hear his name said in an interview. I am not having a Javika Fox again. Ever again.
Yeah. Yeah. 14 does not have a card. Right, he's 14. Yeah, he's 14 for sure.
The new guy, yeah.
Yeah. He does not have a card. But because they tried to give all the doctors have their card, and then they have like cards that tell important episodes of theirs, at least one.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, like it's really interesting, but like obviously 14 hasn't had any episodes yet, so
true. Yeah.
War Doctor has a card too.
R.I.P. John Hurt.
Yeah, your card is incredibly busted. Thank you for your contribution to this wonderful game. It is. It might be like one of the best cards in the set. It's so good.
Oh wow.
If I buy any card from this set, it'll be the War Doctor. Yeah, cards look sweet. Artwork is so good. The art, I don't know why, because like I'm not a big art guy. I don't, and like not because I'm like art's dumb, but like I just don't. I haven't learned how to engage with it in a way that I like. But there's a card from the Van Gogh episode, and
Classic.
it's like a shot of him in the museum, and Amy's behind him, but the artwork for the card is in Van Gogh's style.
Oh fuck!
It's really good. It's like maybe my favorite art of the set.
I'm not gonna play
Yeah.
I'm About to Come again, but holy shit, that's
Yeah.
good.
It's a really cool looking card. And like there's stuff like that all throughout, just like having a lot of fun with the artwork, and
That's
all the
awesome.
doctors have TARDIS themed alternate cards, like alternate borders for the card. It's a really cool idea. And also the head Gavin, as you've sent me before, the Roosevelt's guy.
Yeah.
He's the head designer. He might be one of the biggest Doctor Who fans on the planet. Like this is
Roosevelt,
his dream.
give us Doctor Who shirts.
This is his dream
You
project.
ship to England. I know that. Give us fucking Doctor Who shirts.
So yeah, overall pretty cool. I'm gonna be at Star City Games Con.
Sorry,
I'm gonna be at Star City Games Con Pittsburgh in like a month. So also that'll be cool.
Hell yeah.
Come play Magic in Pittsburgh.
Come play Magic in Pittsburgh and come eat at Tom's Watch Bar. Speaking of card games, did you see Star Wars is getting a Magic clone?
Oh, so are they giving it its own Magic clone, or are they baking it into Lorcana?
No, it's gonna get its own Magic clone. Like it's Star Wars the card game, like TCG.
Interesting.
I know no details about other than the announcement trailer from this past weekend. It may not even be from this past weekend. I just saw in the group chat I'm in with like Alden and the Bombad guys and Skywalking, etc. Alden sent the link to the trailer and he was like, "Yeah, these look beautiful."
That's interesting.
So I don't know if I'm going to get into it or not, but there's a Qui-Gon card, so who knows?
Collecting's always a thing.
Yeah.
So I really thought they were going to try to bake it into Lorcana, which I have not looked into. Like it's out now, you can play it. There's actually going to be Lorcana tournaments at SCG Pittsburgh.
So what's Lorcana?
It's Disney. It's a Disney
Magic
card, basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
I remember. Okay, I remember you telling me. Okay, now I remember. I forgot the name.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
I've been meaning to buy some of the intro decks and like learn the game a little bit. But it's still really fresh. There's a lot of like they haven't ironed out a lot of the rules yet. It is one thing about Magic that if you come into Magic now and like you're playing and you find this really weird complex rules thing, there's probably an answer somewhere on the internet about it. Like someone else has experienced that weird rule thing. That doesn't exist for Lorcana yet. So I would get frustrated by that, by not having an answer for things like that. So I'm not going to play competitively or anything, but I might buy the decks and learn some stuff. But I assumed, because it's Disney, that they were going to go all in and put like Marvel and Star Wars into Lorcana. And the fact that they're not is interesting. It also opens up, there is a space opera Magic set coming out next. I believe it's next year. It might be 2025.
I remember you saying that.
It is 25. I lied. It's 2025. And like they like to do tie-ins like the next set coming out besides Doctor Who is Ixalan, which is a dinosaur themed plane, and we're getting Jurassic World tie-in cards with that set. So obviously we're getting a space opera set. You know, the odds are high. Or not high, but odds are there that it could happen. And if it did, the amount of money Hasbro would make.
So, Star Wars Unlimited is the name of the one. This is from Gizmodo. Star Wars has a long history with the collectibles card game media, but is the likes of Magic dabbles with high-profile crossovers, and Disney itself getting into the market with the launch of popular Lorcana. It's nearly time for the galaxy far, far away to join the card-covered tabletop with its own evolution. That game comes in the form of Star Wars Unlimited, developed by Fantasy Flight and Asmodee, the current home of myriad Star Wars tabletop products. Fantasy Flight was the system we used for Ionized Bastards Season 1 for their RPG game. They've done Legion, X-Wing, Armada, Shatterpoint. Let me see what the date is. Oh, so it's this past Thursday. And then there's a trailer released. Drawing on characters from across Star Wars comics, books, games, films, and shows. Unlimited sees players build 50 card decks of heroes and villains based around one major leader character that commands your forces as you defend a base from ground and aerial assault. Aside from launching with a starter set including 2 decks built around Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader, Spark of Rebellion will launch with over 200 cards, some available exclusively in the starter set, with the rest found in unlimited 16-card booster packs, each of which comes with a guaranteed leader and base. So players can start building decks with a few packs of boosters instead of needing to rely on the pre-built launch in Spark. So yeah. And then I remember and this is in the thumbnail for the article I'm looking at, some of the cards they previewed. There's a Grand Inquisitor, Sabine Wren, Boba Fett, Leia. I know I think I saw a Qui-Gon card in the here. Let me throw the trailer up for the screen share so you can see it.
I'm looking at their website right now at cards. This actually looks a lot like Lorcana and like One Piece. One Piece has a TCG that's kicking off, but it's gaining a lot of steam right now. And this looks a lot like One Piece, actually.
Here, let me restart the trailer.
Yeah.
Do you hear it?
Yeah.
So for people who are listening, the first there was a splash art of what I was talking about with Grand Inquisitor, Boba Fett, etc. So the next wave of cards, there's one for old Ben Kenobi. There's one of him fighting Vader on the Death Star. There's one. There's a tactic card called Surprise Strike where it's Cassian shooting Krennic. One called Fallen Lightsaber, which looks like Darth Maul holding up his lightsaber. And then there's a card for Home 1. So yeah, it's building your deck. So it's Luke's lightsaber. Was that one that just went by?
There's a Boba Fett card.
I'm trying to cater to the audio listeners. Yeah, Luke's lightsaber, Boba Fett, TIE Interceptor, a recruiter poster, my boy Mace Windu. I guess I made up the Qui-Gon card. I don't know how I I must have been thinking of the Mace one then.
It might not be in the trailer. It might be somewhere else in.
I could have sworn I saw a card for Qui-Gon, but yeah. Oop. So that looks really cool. I might get into that. Who knows?
Yeah, I haven't gone into One Piece because product's really hard to come by, so it's kind of expensive right now. But I know tournaments have been happening locally, around the area, so there's a scene for it. And it's One Piece. Luffy's getting a balloon in Macy's Day Parade this year. We're getting there. One Piece is One Piece is already as popular as it could possibly be in Japan. It's sweeping the world. We're doing it.
Hell yeah. Yeah. So moving along, one last piece of semi straight up gaming news. Travis, you have beaten Assassin's Creed Mirage.
Yes, I have. I didn't expect to by now, but as it turns out, I used to think 14 hours was a really long time for a campaign of a story. If I put 14 hours into a video game story, that was a lot for me when I was younger. And I did it this weekend. And I sat there and I didn't think that was it. Like I knew it was going to be shorter, and I was satisfied.
Do we want to tell the listeners why this episode's out late?
I might have spent my Friday playing Mirage instead of watching Loki. But in my defense, it's all Loki. I really enjoyed the game.
Death to all of them.
I enjoyed it. It does feel a lot more like an older Assassin. Like, not literally feels, because the gameplay is just Valhalla again.
Okay.
Because I didn't know until the day before it came out. This was originally intended to be a DLC for Valhalla.
You told me that. I remember
and
that.
they just spun it into its own game, and you can feel that. But I like the sandboxy approach from the newer trilogy of games, with the stealth approach that you need for an original AC game. Because one of the things, like, even I really enjoyed Origins. Like, Origins is up in my top echelon of Assassin's Creed games. I don't like that you can't one-hit assassinate people without putting all your resources into your hidden blade, which I did, and it made the game fun for me. But in this game, you don't do that. Like, there isn't a lot of resource management. You don't get as much armor, just because, like, you don't level up.
Yeah.
In the game,
which makes more sense for this for this game. Like, you're playing as a straight up assassin, not a Viking who moonlights as an assassin.
Yeah. Yeah, I really think it's a pretty slick experience if you're looking for something quick. It's only $50. I say only, but like it, it's not, they aren't charging 70 for it, so that is pretty nice.
Yeah.
I called the plot twist. There's like a little plot twist that happens at the end, and I called it in the first hour of the game. And I am documented. This isn't me saying that. I told Lexi before I was even over halfway through the game. I was like, I think this thing. And now I can't tell her I was right, because she might play the game, and I don't want to spoil that.
Okay, so I'm gonna take off my headphones. Do you like wave at me for when I can put it back on? Because I'm also gonna avoid hearing this spoiler.
Oh,
so,
I mean, like, it's the only. I'm not even gonna say it. The game's too fresh. I don't want to.
Okay.
I don't want to do that. But for people that have finished it, I called it right away. I was happy I called it. I thought it was a neat idea. I want the little connector. I want to see Basim find Eivor. And we don't get that in this game.
Okay. I mean, I figured, yeah.
And they could very easily just be like, and here's another like quick $20 DLC that tells that story. I'd be happy with that. I am really interested in what they're doing with Basim. I'm curious what he's going to do in the game after this one, like in present day. And if you haven't played Valhalla, go play Valhalla. It's like pretty fun. And it's just wackadoo as hell. Like, it makes no fucking sense. But yeah.
Oh yeah.
I also didn't use. They have a the Predator takedown from Arkham Knight is in this game. Like, you assassinate people, and I didn't use it the whole game till the very end, because like I got like in the very last mission, I get to this.
Like 3 or 4 people.
You get up to 5. Yeah.
Up to 5. Okay. I couldn't remember how many you got in Predator.
I think
you get Predator in Arkham Knight. That is.
I think you also get up to 5 in Arkham Knight, but you build it up to 5 in Mirage. And I literally, like, I'm on the last mission, and I get to this thing, and they have hostages, and I'm like, oh, they want me to assassinate all these people. I can't. How do they expect me to do this? I don't have any of my gear because it's the last mission, so they finagle your gear. And I'm like, how the hell am I supposed to do this? And then I take a good look at my screen. I go, I haven't used this mechanic the entire game, and I had skill points. I went in, I leveled it up, and then just used it right there and went, oh.
Travis levels it up, looks down at this room of goons, and goes, "I'm vengeance."
It was in that moment I realized why they put it, like what it was supposed to be, and I was like, oh, yeah, this is pretty cool.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I get why they couldn't do it. I say the Animus because you are playing as someone in the Animus, but we don't know who. Which again was supposed to be a DLC. But the Animus like glitches between people, so like he stabs one and then it like fast forwards to the next person, but you don't really see Bassam move. So it's not quite as cool as it could be, but it's still pretty cool.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it. I look forward to playing it.
I'm glad
I haven't played Mortal Kombat yet, so my plan at this point is I'm getting Spider-Man at launch.
Yeah.
I'm beating Spider-Man. Then I'm gonna get into Mortal Kombat, and after I've sunk my teeth enough into Mortal Kombat, I'll be going back and forth between Mortal Kombat and Mirage.
I'm glad I got Mirage out of the way so that now when Spider-Man comes out, I'm not like, oh, but do I want to finish Mirage first? I'm so close. No, none of that. I get to just.
I remember back early TNAP, you and I had a fun couple weeks where I was all the way into Spider-Man, and you were all the way into Mirage, and we were like, oh, I did this, oh, I did that, So I'm excited. Speaking of Spider-Man, before we get into TV talk, did you see the suit leak?
No, I've seen some of the ones they've shown off like officially on Twitter and Instagram, but
all of the suits have leaked.
So you don't have to tell me, but like, are you satisfied? And you know what I mean by that question.
So I can't believe I didn't tell you this. I have been satisfied for a couple months. Or maybe last month. Last month there was like a little snippet of like of a screen that in the background that you could tell was the Superior Spider-Man suit.
Okay.
So Superior Spider-Man is in it. We got a good look at it in the leaks. I am using 2 suits. And they are the symbiote and the superior suit. And that's all I need. But no, there's some hitters. There's some real hitters. Surprisingly, here's the thing. A lot of people, myself included, kind of looked at Spider-Man 2 and went, all they have to do is include all of the suits from the first game and then add the obvious exclusions and then go from there. Because with but again, the first Spider-Man game, like it was an incredible roster of suits, but there were some notable ones that were absent, such as the Amazing Spider-Man 2 suit, the Superior Spider-Man suit, the Raimi symbiote suit. Now, and a lot of people went after the ending of the first game, went, okay, obviously they're probably saving Raimi black suit for the story that'll be about the black suit. And that's there, that we saw that in one of the trailers. But surprisingly, there's a lot of suits from the first game that are not present.
I'm not that surprised, only because then, like, when you do that, because you only have so many suits you can reasonably put in the game. I say that like they could have put them all in, obviously, but then like if I'm like the average person, I'm going into this game, I beat the first game, and as the game starts, I'm unlocking all the suits I had in the first game. I'm like, well, why am I could just be playing Spider-Man 1, you know?
Yeah.
And like obviously we don't necessarily think that way. I don't think a lot of people, I think it would have been fine, but they would have faced some backlash of like they just reused the suits. And so the fun of like, here's a new fresh set.
Yeah. So cool. So on the left is all the Peter stuff. On the right is all the Miles suits. Look away if you don't want to see this. So up top here, now, spoiler, skip ahead like 10, 20 seconds. People are saying that apparently this is like this game's anti-Ox suit, and that allegedly this is called the anti-Venom suit.
Interesting. Which
So
makes sense. It makes sense where it is on the screen.
Yeah, so maybe there's that. We have a classic comic symbiote as well as a like kind of more fucked up Insomniac looking symbiote. But just kind of run through the big notable ones. You obviously have the advanced suit, looks like classic here. One of the caped hooded ones. I'm not sure what this is. 2099. Also, I don't know if you saw this, Travis. There's going to be like suit colorways.
Yeah.
So you'll have a suit and then you can like change the colors on it. So like
instead of having two
2099
2099 suits, we're gonna have the color sets in the 2099 suit.
Precisely. But yeah, I believe this is the TASM 2 suit. I believe this is another like symbiote variant. Spider-Man Noir gets the hat and the coat. MCU homemade. We got a bunch of the movie suits here. So you got like the symbiote, Raimi, Homecoming. I can't tell where it is on here just because everything's so tiny. The final swing suit from No Way Home is here. Here's comic book symbiote. Here's Superior Spider-Man right here. TASM 1. But yeah, lots of cool stuff. One that I'm excited by is there's a Fantastic Four suit.
Yeah, like a proper one.
Yeah. Which will probably also turn into Future Foundation. And then Miles has some cool suits. There's like some returning ones from his game. As like his Prowler Purple Rain suit. Miles 2099, which I think might be my favorite suit from him in the first game. There's a Wolverine inspired suit.
I see that. I don't know what it's from, but
well, it's just Wolverine inspired, and it like all the colorways are like the Wolverine. So it's like the Miles palette, and then there's like an X-Force one. I believe there's a classic yellow and blue as well. I think there's a whatever the fucking Venom story was, the King in Red or whatever the fuck here as well. So yeah, I mean these suits look incredible, and obviously there's DLC. There's inevitably going to be a DLC. So yeah, I think this is an incredible base roster of suits. Here, let me see if I can find a good picture of the Superior Spider-Man suit, because I know we have gained a following of Superior Spider-Man fanboys around these parts, and for good reason. I think it's just because I won't shut the fuck up about it. Hold on, let me try to find it. I'm not seeing it yet. Oh well. Anyway, yeah, so cool stuff there. Very excited. Like I said, I'm basically only going to be playing as Superior Spider-Man and the black suit. But yeah, exciting stuff. So, all of that said, Gen V, the boys spinoff. I'm 2.5 episodes in. I'm going to try to get caught up. I'm either going to do a season review.
While you do this, I'm going to go pee.
You go pee. I'm either going to do a season review or I'll try to do week to week. I think a season review might be best. We also have to get caught up, and I mean Travis might be caught up. I'm not, and finish talking about my adventures with Superman. But VOT Gen V is a lot of fun so far. It truly feels like like Sky High taking place in the boys universe, which on paper shouldn't work. It's one of those things. It sounds like too much of a mix of like corny, power friendship type shit. I don't know. Maybe it's because I watched Sky High as a kid so many times that the pitch of superhero school always works for me. But man, do I love superhero school. Do I love superhero school? But no, there's a lot of fun. Marie Moreau, which is really hard but very comic booky name. And again, I know very little about the boys' source material, so I don't know if Marie Moreau is a character from the comics. I don't know how many of these characters are from the comics, or if they're just like whole cloth inventions for the boys' universe. What I do know is I think she's a fascinating protagonist. I think her arc is a very fascinating one. I know Travis isn't one to very much care about spoilers and stuff, so I'm not too worried about getting too spoilery for him. But and he can't tell me no because he has his earbuds in as he goes to the bathroom. So if he can just take them out. Marie going on this arc of somebody who is just so determined to get hers is really fascinating because the show tees her up to be such an everyman and be somebody who's like, oh, you're going to take this person very much like Huey and take this person who is a kind-hearted,
Can't believe you spoiled everything for me, you bastard.
Decent human being. Homelander is black noir, and anyway, to take somebody who feels like this everyman Luke Skywalker Huey type and thrust them into this cruel, unforgiving world. The boys almost kind of primes us for this character to be sympathetic to a fault, like Huey. And what I appreciate about the route they've taken to Marie is that she is not that despite her upbringing, and her coming from, the foster system after when her powers manifest, she kills her parents by accident and she's estranged from her sister who blames her for all of this. That they could have taken the route of Marie being incredibly sympathetic and, you see her fully prepared to just do the right thing at multiple points. And I love the fact that they show her get burnt, no pun intended. Sorry, Professor Brinks, for doing the right thing. And you see that after that has happened and after she's been lionized as this hero in an attempt for Vought to save face at the university, Goodwin, I can't remember how to say the name of the school. That she has now turned a little cynical and is realizing that she's just going to have to put up with the system to get things done. I think it's incredibly fascinating. There is, the boys finds a way to be more nuanced and clever than a show that is this determined on vulgar humor and hyperviolence deserves to be. I do truly think that is the key to the boys, is that despite the cynical veneer of the show, it has never convinced itself that it's smarter than its viewer and has always been more concerned with telling a story with the superhero genre conventions and using them both in service of and despite those tropes. That it maintains a heartfeltness and always has something to say, and I appreciate that in the show. And again, it shouldn't have been a surprise to me, but the fact that this show is tackling, to quote Kendrick Lamar, fake woke activism and, self-harm and body dysmorphia in a very fascinating way. I am very impressed by this show already, and I'm very enthralled by the current plot of Gen V. Yeah, I'm absolutely loving it. The cast is stellar. It fits right in the boys universe. I'm enjoying it a lot. My only issues is that I think that the writers have an easier time writing a cynical millennial elder Gen Z than they have writing like young Gen Z. So so there's been a couple beats where it has that like.
Gee, I wonder what kind of practices in the writers' room, not because of the writers, but because of producers that have been keeping young Gen Z out of the writers' room could be affecting that. Maybe I don't.
Yeah, right.
Weird.
Well, I think in the defense of the show, I do think it's a double-edged sword because more often than not, the writing in the boys, when it's not like really gripping character stuff and it's them doing like the over the top on the nose social commentary, like it's very pointed and unsubtle on purpose. So you'll have moments where, like, for example, there's like the moments in it's like season 2 and season 3 where like there are jokes that are clearly making fun of Zack Snyder's DC characters.
Yeah.
Like and the writing is incredibly on the nose to make sure that that joke does not go over anybody's head. And it is just so pointed and like cliche and unsubtle on purpose, and it's through writing choices like that that got us my favorite fucking joke from season 3, which was when the Dawn of the Seven movie finally comes out. I don't know if I think we talked about this before, Travis. When the Dawn of the Seven movie comes out, and Ashley, like the strung out assistant character, she is hooking up with the director at the red carpet. And at this point, we find out that Ashley's been driven so crazy by being talked down to all the time that she's become this very like she becomes this like very degrading dom type. So she's like fucking the director in the bathroom, and there's this moment where she's like, admit that we had to like say something. We had to reshoot. Tony Gilroy had to reshoot your whole fucking movie because you're a fuck up. And it is fucking Rogue One joke because Gareth Edwards, Gareth Edwards was a company man and did what Lord and Miller didn't do and just kind of took the L and accepted a director's credit when it really should have been a story by credit. Like jokes like that, where it's very on the nose. There's no subtlety to it. They're not even trying to hide it. They just said Tony Gilroy and knew the people who knew would know. When you transpose that into like adult teenagers talking about social media and YouTube and content creating and being an influencer, that's where you kind of run the risk of losing your younger audience because it's like 30 and 40-year-olds writing how they think young people sound, you know? And like, but again, they're not missing the mark on like the social commentary. It's just that the dialogue is very like, I'm going to get so many
feel of speaking.
It's going to have that, like, I'm going to get so many hits on Instagram. And it's like, what the fuck are you talking about? So like you get some of that, but also those beats hit. It's just that the dialogue is very hello fellow teens. But the show's incredible so far. It is incredible. And the cast is stellar. Yeah.
Nice.
Travis, you need to get caught up on the boys.
I do. But you need to get caught up on My Adventures of Superman because it's the GOAT. It's so good. It's so good.
You could not be talking about more different shows right now.
I know.
Well, that's why I, especially because it's on the way, that's why you need to watch Invincible. Like before anything, watch Invincible, because Invincible has like the biting hyper violence commentary on superhero media with the optimism and like power of friendship of like My Hero or My Adventures of Superman. Like it's like it marries those two so fucking well. And again, that is another show. Incredible cast.
My Hero Academia, the fight happening right now in the manga is the best fight in the series. And as soon as it gets animated, I'm gonna lose my shit. And I will not stop talking about it.
I need to catch up on this so bad.
I can't even, there's no way for me to talk about it without spoiling. It's just, and like,
I know there was a week or two there where you and I were both like having a candlelight vigil for Bakugo, and that's pretty much the last thing I know about.
Yeah, he's still sleeping. We don't have any confirmation on what's happened to him yet. It's been a minute. They've been doing a lot of other stuff. There's been a lot of other things happening.
Maybe I'll walk out of here tomorrow and you never see me again. That's really what I want to do.
He's gonna be fine. No one dies in shonen anime. But
shut the fuck up! Don't say that to me.
But someone's about to die in a shonen. It's not Bakugo, but someone's about to die in a shonen anime, and I'm gonna cry next week when assuming it's not another filler chapter. But I'm gonna cry next week when the chapter comes out.
Sensational. Loki. Now, Travis, I texted you about an hour before we started.
Yes, you did.
And I said, I have a question I can't wait to ask you about Loki.
Uh-huh.
To which you responded, Yes, I do think they're going to recast Kang as a jet ski. That
That is what I said.
was not my question.
Okay.
That was my second question.
Okay.
My first question. What did you think happened at the end of Loki season 1? Because I'm convinced I'm a fucking idiot now.
So I'm gonna be honest, it's been a minute. So like the Loki gets kicked through the door.
Yeah, he gets Sparta kept through the time door, and he
Yeah,
winds up back at the TVA,
right. But it's a
and he
different
runs up to
TVA.
B-15 and Mobius, and he's like, "Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, fuck, 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 fuck," and then he looks up, and it's a statue of Kang.
Yeah, and they don't know who he is,
Yeah.
and he
When
runs off.
when I first saw that,
Uh-huh.
I thought Loki ended up in a new timeline.
Because he did.
Well, that's the thing. The show has completely refuted that.
Has it? I don't think it has.
Loki's in the past.
Oh yeah, that does make sense. Actually, you're right.
So when I saw that, I thought it was okay, congratulations. Loki is now in the TVA where time operates completely differently. So by the time Loki has arrived, Kang has already conquered reality.
Mm-hmm.
And the TVA is mask off about being Kang the Conqueror's operation.
Okay, I understand. I understand the breadth of your question now. And also, I now better understand the because I figured out what was happening in the middle of the episode, but then I forgot about the opening scene.
So I was so that kept me confused for the first half of my watch.
Mm-hmm.
And it took the moment where Loki was in the boardroom
Yeah,
where
that's when
he
I figured it out too.
prunes the wall,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh, okay. Like I was, and please sound off in the comments. Tell me if I'm crazy or not, because I totally interpreted that as new timeline.
Yes, and
Or
I
like
think
Loki is in a post Kang TVA, not Loki is in a Kang is still openly the face of the TVA.
so. That's the timeline. I know there's a glare bit, right?
So that's pre Sylvie killing He Who Remains.
Right. And so we thought, and I think most people thought, I don't think you're out of the loop for this. I think because like then we start getting the this.
Yeah, and it's just branching into fucking chaos.
Right. And so my interpretation of the beginning of this episode was that we start where Loki season 1 ended, and he's there. And then
I'm just gonna full screen you while we
yeah, sure. So I think the dot,
yeah,
and then my interpretation, which I now know is wrong, is his first time slip moves him there. And from there, he starts bouncing around on the original timeline. But clearly, it puts him there.
yeah. Back when it was like mask off Kang.
Right.
So that threw me for a loop. And again, I again, people sound off in the comments. I really did think that the consensus was that Loki was like post Kang domination.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm glad we're semi on the same page now then. Or
Yes.
semi is in like, I'm assuming the listeners were on the same page as us as well. All of the time travel fuckery of like how season 1 actually ended compared to what we thought it was aside, this was a fantastic season opener.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Um,
it's weird how much I forgot because like I know during Loki I was never like, yeah, man, this is the best one. This is the best show. But
I
like
was. I never
I
shut
know
the
you
fuck
were.
up about that.
I know you were. But I definitely didn't realize I didn't appreciate how much I did enjoy Loki until this episode. And I was like, it feels good coming back to this,
Yes.
you know?
Yes. No, it's just the writing is so tight. It's one of those. The thing that I love about Loki is that I'm about. I'm gonna Scorsese this shit. The thing that I love about Loki is that for the most part, this you could pry this show out of the MCU and it would still be an incredible like sci-fi show.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, like it doesn't hinge on like the comic bookiness as much. Like now, it's very entrenched in the MCU and like in its ramifications for it. But like this is a show I would watch and love if it were not for it being Marvel Studios Loki.
Right. Like if the name of the show wasn't Loki and the main character's name wasn't Loki, and he was not the trickster god Loki, and he was
Yeah.
just some magical dude that ends up in time
Time
jail.
jail. Yeah.
You know, that the show would still work very well.
Yeah. Now that said, it soars because it utilizes its source material incredibly. It utilizes the nature of Kang being this imposing villain very well. And again, the Jonathan Major situation notwithstanding, like we're going to be talking about the show. I just want to say this now, like that cloud will hang over this show. There is no getting around that. We do not know what's happening with that situation. You know, as we've said before, it has only gotten more and more confusing as to what to make of the situation as time has gone on. You know, Jonathan Majors will be in this show and like we will be talking about his performance, and like just to get ahead of that, like there's no getting around him being an incredible actor.
Right.
You know, there's no getting around Jonathan Majors being an incredible actor. There's no getting around Bryan Singer making, you know, the usual suspects. There's no getting around Michael Jackson. There's no getting whatever. All like I don't say whatever to dismiss it. I say whatever is like we could be here listing examples for another hour and a half. What I'm saying is our stance on the Jonathan Major situation being an ongoing development, I hope comes as a given.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure that we will put the necessary caveats onto any praise of his performance and how it affects the show. It's just hard to get around the fact that he's in the show and is going to do his thing. You know, so just laying the groundwork for that now. But no, I do really love it. I love what I really enjoyed was the way that the MCU time travel rules and laws were utilized in this episode. You know, you get the whole thing about how the TVA functions differently in terms of like how time flows. So the fact that within the TVA you can utilize like quote unquote back to the future rules where what you're doing here affects here.
Yeah.
Moving more into the frame. You know, I like the stuff with OB I really loved because it also introduces a fun little wrinkle that it seems because OB is so disconnected from the rest of the TVA, it very much implies that he's the only person who hasn't had his memory wiped.
Maybe. I mean, I could see it
Because you got to
if he
figure,
is so separated, he doesn't necessarily need to be talking about because they probably wouldn't have regarded Kang as Kang at the time. You know,
maybe,
like, we don't know.
we don't know. But the reason I say that with OB is that at no point did anybody abruptly go, "Holy shit, Loki! I remember that time you were time skipping. I remember you from like 400 years ago. What's up?" That never happens. OB is the only person who is in real time retroactively remembering memories.
So, but here's my counterpoint to that. And maybe this is just a writing error. If that's the case, he shouldn't be called OB. Because to me, it seemed implied that Loki gave him that nickname by accident. You catch what I mean? Because like they show up, he's like, call me OB. And they say, okay, we'll call you OB. And then Loki time skips back and calls him OB, and he goes, I like that. Implying he's never been called OB before.
Maybe, but that could also be the beginning of it. That could also be showing like the way that it's the weird way that it's happening.
I guess I guess because to me it didn't imply Back to the Future rules, it implied Harry Potter rules. Where like in that moment
The time travel has always been a part of the timeline, and it's all
yeah.
cyclical. Perhaps I think that you can make an argument for the OB thing that like because of the way it's presented to us and like edited in that very like boom 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 like very centered framing and like almost first person perspective that we're flipping back and forth between Mobius, OB, and Loki. That for us it seems like the moment Loki says something, we're seeing OB remember it, when in reality, like all of these memories are flowing back to OB in real time. And that by the time Loki's walked in, we've already had the OB, can I call you OB? Oh, I like that. That's already happened. And like, this is stuff that's coming back to him. And that like, he's like, since I don't know how to explain this without making it confusing.
I understand what you're saying, but my counterpoint is that Loki needs to know to call him OB for him to want to be called OB. You know what I mean? Like, Loki can't have that information if he hasn't already done it, which means that's the cycle.
Yeah, but my other counterpoint to you would be that Mobius doesn't remember his interactions with OB. He remembers Mobius. I almost said Morbius. He remembers Mobius.
Well, that lends credence to him not having his mind wiped.
And that's what I'm saying. Is it Mobius? Is it OB has never had his mind wiped. And
yes,
that
I'm
is
agreeing
why
with that.
Okay.
Yeah, no, my thing is specifically that Loki isn't necessarily in real time affecting what's happening, but that his time slip there is is canon already, if that makes sense. Like, because again, like without everything else, it's presented like Back to the Future logic, except the name OB, because he goes, I like to be called OB, call me OB. So Loki knows that, and then goes back and is like, can I call you OB? Yes, I like that. As opposed to
I love that I'm so confused by this show. Like, sincerely, I love that this show is so fucking confusing.
As opposed to if like Loki had time slipped there first by accident, and like when he gets there, I forget what his actual full name is, and I feel really bad for that. But Ouroboros, thank you. And he's like, my name's Ouroboros. Can I just call you OB? Make it easy on me, right? Like, if that exchange happens first in like the sequence that we see it, now we see Back to the Future logic. I think the way it's presented, because again, Loki doesn't come up with that on the spot. He is told, call me OB, then time slips and calls him OB.
I see what you mean. I think that you could, again, I stand by my interpretation that I think that like Loki naming him OB has already happened by the time he's like, yeah, call me OB. and that like
I
Loki, it's
I can't agree with that.
that's fair. That's fair. That's fun. It's
In my defense, shut up.
art is
Rome.
different. Up my my our arguments. This is the fun part of interpreting art. No, I really enjoyed that. I'm really interested in this more militant wing of the TVA.
Mhm.
I'm very interested to see where that's going. I love the moral questions of like, are we even doing the right thing anymore? Like we're just annihilating billions of people at a clip, and like now that everything's so out of control, like even if we were going to agree that normally, pruning a timeline at a time was justifiable, there are so many timelines now
Mhm.
that we cannot justify a like just mass extinction to the tune of trillions of people, quintillions of people at a
Yeah.
time. I love that. I love that we're in this weird ethical place with this story. I love that we're in a point in the narrative, and here's something that didn't occur to me until later was that like I was so hashtag Sylvie all day, baby. Or hashtag oh, what was the name? Silky. Silky was the name of the ship. Silky all day. I love that Loki. I was so caught up in that brief reunion that I was taken aback and did not realize that, like, it didn't occur to me at first that like someone snuck up on Loki and pruned him,
Yeah, from behind.
thinking he was going to be killed.
I don't know about that. I think someone might have been there and known he needed to get pruned, like then and there, or else something bad was going to happen.
I don't know if anybody else would have known that. I think it may have been that weird hunter who had the weird thing with his mom,
Maybe. I don't know.
who like came
I
up
mean,
behind him and said, shush, and shanked him. What I do think is going to happen, coming back to the Doctor Who talk from a little bit ago, I think Loki and Sylvie are about to have a River Song situation.
Okay.
I think that Sylvie we saw at the end, who was like, "Oh, I'm so happy to see you," whatever the fuck she said. I think that is Sylvie post. Okay, so we know from the trailers, which I've only seen one or two and have not seen anything else since, and have tried to purge from my memory. We know that Loki is going to have a like semi-confrontational reunion with Sylvie at McDonald's.
Where everyone has semi-confrontational reunions.
Yes, with their multiversal counterpart that they're in love with.
Mhm.
So we know that they're kind of at odds when they first see each other at that McDonald's. I think the Sylvie we see breaking into the TVA is the Sylvie that has since decided to rejoin the fight because of Loki, who will then bring her back into the fold in the future.
They're doing this.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
Loki is going to go recruit Sylvie, and the Sylvie that witnesses Loki's pruning. Am I making sense? Am I making
Yes.
sense? Okay.
Yes. I think what could happen is that the last episode of this series works as like a reshot of the pilot, but now we're seeing fully different perspectives where like Loki and Sylvie and whoever else is there are having to do things to make the events of that episode happen so that they get to where they need to be later. Right? Like it might be just another Loki behind Loki pruning Loki in that moment.
Man, would that be some shit?
Or it's like it's Mobius who like he's having to do something else somewhere in the TVA at the moment, and he runs by and he's like, "Oh, right."
Yeah.
So I think that's where we're headed. It might not be like the finale It feels like something you build to for the finale.
It
But,
feels like a
like-
huge twist, but don't forget the entire back half of Loki season 1 was twist.
Right.
Like it was boom, timekeepers in their Last Jedi throne room. Boom, fucking like the Loki tribunal. Boom, Eliath. Boom, Kang. Boom, Kang TVA. Like I think like I agree with what you're saying that could very well happen.
Yeah.
But like I am so ready after how out of its fucking mind Loki season 1 was that we're gonna get
Mm-hmm.
like a multitude of those moments and something similar to it. But yeah, no, oh man, yeah, I love this show so much. I'm so happy to have it back. You know, I am a staunch believer in not using other media you like to bash other things you'd like less. But like after Secret Invasion going into Loki, it's really nice. You know, like coming back to a show that I say is at the top of the MCU hierarchy in terms of television. Like it's like this and She-Hulk that are
Right.
like this She-Hulk WandaVision are just these fucking titans. You know, next to shows that are good. Like I like Moon Knight, I like Miss Marvel, I like those shows a lot. And then you have your like Falcon and the Winter Soldier and fucking Secret Invasion towards the bottom for me. And like this is just so fucking aggressively fuck you good.
Yeah.
I love it. I love having you back. And I'm super excited to see where it goes. You know, I have no fucking clue. I know we're gonna get like the Victor Timely stuff with John Majors and what?
I just realized we spent the whole time describing and didn't call it what it was.
What?
You know what we're gonna get this season? A temporal pincer movement.
We're gonna get a temporal pincer movement.
Because like my brain just went, yeah, man, I'm really digging this time travel stuff. I don't know that it would work as a movie, but I like Tenet. Oh my god.
Well, that seems like an excellent place to wrap things up. I'm going to throw to future me to do all the outro stuff. Travis, where can the lovely people find you?
On Twitter at Travis Political, and I barely tweet. I post other places sometimes. I don't know, man.
Just look up Travis Political on wherever you get your social medias, and it'll be there.
I'm there. I haven't posted in like a month. I don't. What? Okay. Besides the Assassin's Creed tweet, what was the last thing I tweeted? God only knows.
And Twitter.
Yeah. Yeah. Elon Musk knows. The last thing. Oh, it was when Philip DeFranco.
Oh, he started watching One Piece.
Yeah.
Anyway, with that, I'm gonna throw to future Jared to take it from here. And we're back. Couple bit of plugs from me ahead of time. I'm going to be on Bombadcast this week, as some of you may have seen on the Bombadcast social media. A new series on the Bombadcast is starting called Bombad Court Tier Lists. I'm very excited. It's something Scotty's been cooking up for the last couple weeks. It's going to be grand. It's going to be a great gay old time. We're going to be in a court hearing our arguments. I'm going to be on my Mark Bankston shit up in this bitch. I cannot wait. I am very excited for you guys to see it. We're going to be arguing about the tiers of Star Wars live action television. So we'll see you there. I am on an episode of For the Republic, the show that Connor's also on, talking about our favorite Star Wars games. I may have dominated my time talking about Star Wars Obi-Wan, which shouldn't be surprising to y'all. So check that out when that comes out. Yeah. You guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at DarkJedi2552. I'll be sharing all the info for those when those drop. You can find the Nerd Academy podcast on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, wherever you get podcasts. And you can go to our website, thenerdacademypodcast.com. Click on the student store link.
tpublic.com.
And you'll get access to all manner of Nerd Academy merch. And you can also support us by checking out our Patreon.
Hey, give me $1.
Speaking of our patrons, thank you to our $10 alumnus key, Andre Lloyd.
Colin Provolone. Sir.
So good.
Steal yourself, Colin! Steal yourself!
This is me stealing myself.
And to Paco.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. From the front lines of the information war, it's Alex Jones.
Ray and to Ray Clausen, I don't know if I was cut off by the clip or not, who asks you to donate to Equity Texas to help keep queer kids safe in the Lone Star State. Speaking of our Patreon at the $5 tier, you get access to our Knights of the Nerd Republic Versus series, wherein on Friday, fingers crossed, 2 episodes will be dropping, and then we're going to record the other 2 next week, and then we are back on track, baby! All caught up. This week, the hope is for Stellan Gios versus Dagangara and Porter Angle versus Count Dooku, the latter of which will feature the one and only Aladdin Diaz. I don't know, I talked to Travis about it beforehand. This weekend, I'll be recording my Epic Confrontations match against a mystery Schmodown, former Schmodown opponent, competitor. So that'll be very exciting. So whenever that's out, I'll also be sharing that as well. So stay tuned for all of that lovely goodness. Support SAG-AFTRA in the waning days of this strike as they bring the AMPTP to its knees. Labor forever. So yeah, thank you all so very much for watching. And be sure to subscribe. We're so close to 500. So let's help us cross that finish line. So yeah, thank you all for watching, and class dismissed.
Stop! Move away from the cookie jar.